Hello and welcome. I'm Bee and welcome to my channel Beewrites. I'm a writer, poet, and blogger, and on this episode I'm going to be talking about books I loved and hated reading during school. So brew yourself up a cup of tea and get ready for some wholesome entertainment. I'm just going to start with books that I kind of hated instead of the books I loved because, you know, I want to start this on a positive note.
I mean negative?
So there's something to be said about classic books because, like, what really defines a classic book? It's not really like, oh, what you're going to read in school. It's like, you know, it has to have some sort of, like, theme that can, like, stand the test of time in my eyes. So take that with a grain of salt. But a couple of the ones I didn't really like reading at school. One of them is Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, and I really thought I was gonna really love this. You know, it's thin, you know, a great book to read for school. It's the end that really got me. Hopefully you know what I'm talking about, but I'm not gonna give it away. But let's just say I fought a lot of people on it, especially when we did like this Socratic on it at the very end of the unit. And yeah, so just read it for yourself and then, you know, get in contact with me and we can fight that out too. But it's about friendship, and I feel I was kind of in a rough place while reading it, and
Getting deep here.
it depends on what kind of mindset you're in when you read something, because if you read it again at a later time, it's like you might have a different, you know, feeling about it. And I'm gonna read this again because we'll see, but I just really disagreed with the ending. No hate, but yeah, it's not my favorite, but I think he's a great author, and I'm really happy to read his next book.
He's dead.
So, or other books. It was a good movie. I have no complaints.
Slap.
The end was kind of obscure, but that's all I'll say. Really good movie. I liked it better than the book, which is, like, never happens. Romeo and Juliet. I love how I have the No Fear Shakespeare version, which I don't need it. I'm very inept.
I'm not inept in any way, shape, or form.
No, Shakespearean literature. I don't need the No Fear version, thank you very much. But, yeah, so I read this, and the thing about this book is, like, this isn't a spoiler because, like, I feel like everyone knows the general, you know, they kill themselves at the end, which is, okay, I have a problem with that because, A, you're romanticizing suicide. Yeah, so I didn't like that because of that, but it was boring. I did not like it. I was not connected to any of the characters. It was no fun reading it. I've seen both versions. There's like this really, I forget what year it came out.
1968.
But the older one, it's good. And then the one with Leo DiCaprio, that one's good too. But okay, it's directed by that guy who also did Moulin Rouge, and he's a crazy director. I like him. Isn't it like Baz Luhrmann or something?
I'm correct.
But he directed it, and it's good. But the one thing I'll say is, like, the way they did it, it's like, kind of like New Age, and like they're gangsters or whatever, I don't know, they're shooting people, but they're talking like it's Shakespearean, and that's cool, but I was confused the whole time, like, what timeline am I at? Confusing. Side note into the Shakespeare spiel, because I also read The Tempest for my drama class same year, and I love The Tempest better than stinking Romeo and Juliet. You know, this is, of course, is a tragedy, which is funny because I write tragedies, and you think I would love this, but I don't. And this is considered one of Shakespeare's comedies, and I loved it. So, yeah. And it's even a better romance. Like, it makes more sense. Like, you should totally read this one. A lot of people are gonna hate me on this one, and that's okay. But the next one is Animal Farm by George Orwell. And I had, you know, so much faith in this book because I love 1984, which I'll talk about, but I don't know, it just felt very basic, and knowing George Orwell's, like, writing style, I was, like, really excited. I had high hopes for this book, and it fell flat. It really did. But I, like, as a poet myself, I can appreciate, like, personifying, like, the animals and making characteristics, like, from people. We were also studying like the communist unit in our history class, which kind of ties into this, of course. And I just didn't get as much out of it as I thought I would. I'm gonna stop for a tea break. I'm drinking some, I think it's called peppermint bark, which is, it's pretty fancy. I mean, seasonal, but feel free to comment what tea you're drinking today. Of course, I wanted to be more positive in the second half because I think I have even a bigger group of positives rather than my negatives. And the first one I'm going to start with is a big classic in my eyes, and it's To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. And I've read it twice. I read it once when I was in 6th grade. I felt like I didn't really get that much out of it because I was younger, and also the thing with books, like, you have to grow into them and learn more, and once you read them the second time, maybe you're gonna get something more out of it. Kind of like when you watch a movie, like, you see it the first time and, you know, you're enjoying it, but then you see it the second time and you're catching different things. And for this book, which, okay, feel free to fight me on this in the comments, but I hate annotating books. Like, it's a sin. Like, writing and highlighting in a book, that's so wrong. And especially, this is my personal copy, and I'm like gonna keep this forever. Like, my kids are gonna read out of this one, and they're gonna see my thoughts on the page, and they're not even like real thoughts, because my 9th grade English teacher graded us on our annotations in the book. Okay, that's crazy. I just want to enjoy the read, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to like write things in that I don't really believe, you know? Because I was like, oh, this is deep, she'll love this, and I'm like, ugh. And part of it I don't understand because she had like this key and it was like coded. It was, I don't know.
Don't hunt me down, Miss Dollar.
So to go further into this book, it's timeless, and it speaks on a lot of themes that are very like common today.
Racism? Need I say
I just
more?
love it. I mean, the movie's good. It doesn't come close, but overall, great story. Definitely recommend it if you haven't read it. Read it and love it. And let me know about it. Okay, To Kill a Mockingbird, also good. I saw it with my sister who hasn't read the book yet, which is kind of a sin, but I had her watch the movie so she would, you know, want to read the book, and she'll probably read the book soon, so that's cool. But great adaptation. I have no complaints. Of course I have to cut stuff out that, you know, because it's not as long as the book, so I understand, but and it was also in black and white, and people might have a problem with that, and that's totally okay, but it's still great. And it'd be cool if they do like a new age version. I don't know.
Atticus is hot too.
Read the book and then watch the movie. Frankenstein-Mary Shelley. Okay, I really like this one because I feel like my teacher really made me love it because she had like a bunch of projects that we got to do, and it was a bunch of fun. And so that's probably why I loved it even more than I thought I would. And it's not even just about like, ooh, it's supposed to be spooky and scary, like, ooh, monster time, but it's like the way she writes is like so beautiful, like the description, or when she's like describing the landscape and everything. And I think Victor Frankenstein, of course the scientist, not the monster, the person who created the creature, he is just very real. Because like he has like this moral like gray side to him. Like, is he good? Is he bad? And I feel like that's very real because when you're making a character, they have to have just as much positive aspects as they do negative, or else it's just not real to me. So take that with a grain of salt. But this was fun to read, and it's a thinner read, but my copy, like the font, look how tiny that is. It took me a while. Haven't seen it. That's all I'm gonna say, so I can't judge. Next one is Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities. Okay, when I was reading this, cause my teacher, he would like break it up into sections. Like, oh, you have to read this by this time, you gotta be prepared for what we're writing and what we're reading. And I was behind the whole time. So I didn't get to enjoy it as much, and it's probably because he assigns so much at once.
Please don't kill me, Mr. Dinkler.
It's a great book, and I just love the overall story. And the main guy, he's amazing. What's his name?
Sydney Carton, you fool!
Oh, Charles? No, it's not Charles.
Sydney Carton!
Okay, never mind. I forget the main character's name. It's okay. I literally read this at the beginning of this year. But French Revolution, which I love. Talk about Les Mis.
It was the July Revolution, not the French
I have to
Revolution.
mention that book sometime in this channel, but I don't know. It's just, it's very good. Like, after you read it, you're, like, satisfied. You know what I mean? Like, I got everything I needed out of that one. So, read it. And I loved reading it during school. I gotta say, one of my absolute favorite book-to-movie adaptations ever. Like, just, I think it's the 1980, but...
It's 1980 version.
It has the prince from Princess Bride in it.
Chris Sarandon.
He's like Darnay, and then he's the other guy. Oh, isn't his name like Sidney Carton? That's his name.
Finally.
And he's in it. And he plays both of them, and it's absolutely amazing. It's really long. Like, you gotta be committed to the story to actually watch the whole movie, but it's totally worth it. And the end. The end in the book and the movie is just so powerful. Like, I can't, it's good. Okay, first, read the book if you have half a brain, and then watch the movie. It's free on Amazon Prime, so do it. These next two really go hand in hand. It's just kind of like the sci-fi kind of, ooh, it makes you think about, like, society, like, these days, and, you know, like, the future and whatnot. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the first one I read, and it really goes hand in hand with Animal Farm because it is written by the same person, 1984. And I feel like you're either the person who loves 1984 or you're the person who hates 1984.
There is no middle ground.
There's parts of it that I hate, but overall I think I love it. Once again, you have a character who has like a moral gray side. He has like a lot of positive and even more than that negative characteristics. And without giving away the end, you really have to read it to, like, see what I mean, because, yeah, I would be giving away the end if I told you what happens. It was just really fun to read, and it makes you think about, I don't know, like, how is the government, you know, looking at us? And it's always saying Big Brother, and it was funny because going back and watching all these TV shows, like, there's so many episodes of stuff where it's like, ooh, Big Brother this, Big Brother that. I'm like, where did that ever come from? And then you read it, and you're like, oh, okay. So I definitely recommend reading this. It was kind of a long read, but it's fun. And there was this one big chunk where it got very, like, it was kind of hard to read because it was talking about, like, all these rules about the book and how it all works. And a lot of people in my class, they hated that part, and I read that part, and me and the teacher were going back and forth, and I was like telling her, oh, did you notice that part? And me always questioning the teacher. Yeah, read 1984 if you're cool. Join the 1984 gang. And then the last one I will be talking about is Brave New World by Aldous Huxley.
I still don't know how to pronounce his name.
A lot of people made fun of me on this, and I get it. I have a type, for sure, but do you see this guy? Do you appreciate that man? Do you see those cheek lines?
Yes, he is very hot.
Oh, no, he's cute. But this book really goes hand in hand with 1984, because it makes you think, you know, and it talked about, I guess it kind of talked about drugs and, like, deep stuff. But read it, let me know what you think, and it's really kooky because I think people are like cloned or something. I don't know, everyone looks the same. It's cool. I wish they would make a movie. Okay, I'm gonna have to mention that again. They need to make a movie, turn a movie into this. Let me know if I'm wrong, but all these ones are movies, and then these two are not, which they need to make a movie adaptation. Last year when I was kind of talking about this one with my teacher, she said that something was kind of in the works originally, and that, I don't know, I could be wrong, was Leo DiCaprio supposed to be in it, but I would totally see that. And, oh, I think his name's just John, but he's, like, my favorite character, and you gotta read this book because at the very end, like, I can't give anything away, but it crushed me, so read this. So you just finished watching me rate all these books that I read in school, and of course I couldn't cover, you know, all the books I've read, obviously, especially in school, because it feels like every couple months you're reading a new one. So I really appreciate you. Give me one second. I really appreciate you guys. Oh, I just spilled. Watching my first video on YouTube. I wonder if you can tell. I'm sure you can, but it was really fun. And a lot of the time I was feeling like I was rambling. I was like, and like this. But of course, just like the other channels that you may watch, like and subscribe, please. If you can't tell, I spent all morning making that. It's cute. But I love books, and I love writing, and I love all things literary. In case you didn't happen to know, I am writing a book series. I'm also finishing up my first debut poetry book, which I'm really excited about. So maybe one day you can read some of the stuff I write, and I feel like this is what this whole channel is about. So you can go down in the description, see where I'm at, you know, follow me or whatever on anything, read the blog, and stay tuned for the next video. Right now I'm actually reading A Tale of Songbirds and Snakes by Susan Collins. I hope that's what it's called. But
The Ballad
I'm
of Songbirds and Snakes?
really enjoying that. So I'll be sure to post a, what's it called, book review, and I'll see you next time.
Come on, subscribe. You know you want to. Come on, make me some money. You know you want to see the next video. Come on, you little nerd. Hit subscribe. Do it. Subscribe now, please.